Welcome to this class. Yes, this is my third video on how to balance the combustion reaction of aliphatic hydrocarbons, and in this case we are going to be considering the third aliphatic hydrocarbon known as the alkynes. The alkynes are defined by the general formula CnH2n-2, and as you can see on the board, I've given you the formula you are going to apply for this case. Why do we need to learn this formula to balance this kind of equation? This kind of equation are not our regular balancing of equation using trial and error method. This one used to attract fractions sometimes, so we have to really have a formula that can help us to do it in a very sharp way. All right, now in this video I will direct you on how you can do that. First of all, whenever you are given a question, first identify what kind of organic compound is this, so I can know if a compound is alkyne. How do you know? In alkyne, the number of hydrogen of an alkyne will always be twice the number of carbon minus 2. So now, in this case, this is a typical alkyne. This is propane. How do you know? If you twice the number of carbon, 3 times 2, that's 6, right? Now, but you are going to what? Subtract 2 from that 6. 6 minus 2. That will be the number of hydrogen. So that will be H equals to what? 4. So when you notice that the number of hydrogen is almost close to the number of carbon, then that compound is likely to be an alkyne. So I don't need any devil to tell me, or any herbalist to tell me, that these is actually not an alkyne. It's an alkyne because the number of hydrogen is twice the number of carbon minus 2. Twice of 3 is 6, minus 2 from it we get 4, right? So now if a typical alkyne such as propane undergo combustion reaction is always involving oxygen. So that will give you a forward reaction, CO2 plus water. So our task in this class is to balance this chemical equation, because as it is not balanced, because there's 3 carbon here, there's just 1 here. There's 2 oxygen here, and I'm seeing 2 and 1 here again, that's 3. Hydrogen here is 4, hydrogen here is 2. It's not balanced. So how do you balance? This is the formula you're going to use. Don't forget these formulas. So now, for you to get the coefficient of oxygen, you need 3n minus 1 over 2. To balance for CO2, n. To balance for water, n minus 1. So now, the only thing that we need to get here is our n. What's our n? I always said it, and I'm saying it again now. Go and watch my previous video for alkenes and alkanes. This one is alkyne. Alright? Now, the number of carbon here is our n. So if you want to get the n, just go to the carbon given to you. The carbon here is 3. So your n here is 3. So applying all this formula, this one said 3n minus 1 all over 2. Which means anywhere you see n, what will you put? You put your 3, the number of carbon given. That will be 3 into 3 minus 1 all over 2. The most easiest one to get is your CO2. CO2 is always your n. So if you get your n to be 3, which is the number of carbon, it means your number of carbon in the alkyne given is an indicator of the coefficient of CO2. It's always like that. Yes, it has always been like that. Carbon is an indicator of the number of CO2. So if you have 3 here, then here also we also put 3. Alright? The next thing you have to get after you have gotten your CO2 is your water. Your water in alkyne is going to be decreasing the coefficient of your CO2, which is the number of carbon given, by 1. So if you reduce 3 by 1, you will get 2. Now the last one you are going to get is the coefficient of oxygen. And that's why you have to go back to this formula. 3n minus 1 all over 2. Applying that formula here, where our n is 3. Our n is the number of carbon given. So anywhere you see n here, put 3. 3 times 3 will give you 9. Minus 1 all over 2. 9 minus 1 will give you 8. 8 all over 2 will give you 4. Which means 4 is the coefficient of oxygen. For you to check this, now let's check. There's 3 carbon here, there's 3 carbon here. There's 4 hydrogen, 4. Check here, 2 times 2 is 4, which is balanced. There's 4 times 2 oxygen here, that's 8. 3 times 2 here give us 6. 2 times oxygen here give us 2. 6 plus 2, we will get 8. So may the Lord grant you understanding. Please keep sharing my video and keep following.